Look, I don't want to sound all super hypey, make money online, make that super sweet passive income, but if you just do what I cover in this video, you will be successful. The most amount of money that I've made in a single month online in my business is a little over $200,000. That's about $7,000 a day, and it's because of this. I've made over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K, and it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then most likely you'll just end up poor. And when I say poor, I'm talking about a mentality, because poor, P-O-O-R, stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. So most people, they're not successful because they don't take action now. And now, N-O-W, stands for no opportunities wasted. So are you going to continue to pass over opportunities repeatedly? And remember, the opportunity of a lifetime only lasts for the lifetime of the opportunity. But look, when I'm hanging out with my entrepreneur buddies, a lot of the times the concept of success comes up in conversations and why people don't reach the level of success that they desire. And I hear things from these guys like, oh, people, they don't want it enough, or people, they're not willing to do what it takes, or people, they don't want to put in the grind, people, they don't want to put in the hustle. And I don't agree with that at all. A lot of that stuff, it just sounds really stupid to me. And actually, I've also come to realize that a lot of the times when people become more successful, they become way more stupid also, or stupider, because more stupid, I don't even think that's proper English, but a lot of them become stupider the more successful that they get. And that's a topic for a whole nother discussion. But I don't think that it's not that people want it. Like, people want to be successful. The problem is that people, they're not optimized to be a successful person. And it only comes down to three things. So check this out. In order to be a successful person, you have to be optimized like a successful person. And like 99% of people are not optimized for success, and they're wondering why they cannot get success. And it comes down to these three things. So out the gate, poor time management. Like, this is the number one thing that is ruining majority of people. It's simply poor time management. Now, this isn't about to be some video about all these productivity hacks and how you can get more done with your time, because most of that stuff is a load of crap, because you don't need to get more stuff done with your time. You actually need to do less stuff. It's not about being more productive. It's actually about doing less stuff. And this is what I mean by this. Look, so we have 24 hours within the day, but most people, they only have 16 hours a day if you get the proper amount of sleep or whatnot. I know everybody's sleep schedule is different, but let's just say that each and every single day, the average person has 16 hours. But most people, they have a 9-to-5 job, right? So they have their 8 hours that they work, their 9-to-5 over here, and they have their other 8 hours right here. The problem is that people, they don't know how to leverage these 8 hours over here to whereas they can eliminate these 8 hours over here of their job and actually get more of their time back, so they can put that time into themselves and into their business. And I know that everybody doesn't work 8 hours per day. Some people work more than 8 hours per day. And if you're one of those people that work more than 8 hours per day, get another job. Look, when I tell people this, that are working so many hours, they're like, well, I can't get another job because I make this much money with my overtime. And if I work another job that has less hours, then I'm going to be making less money. And I need that money from my overtime. I'm like, okay, well then if you're not willing to sacrifice a little bit of money right now, then you're not going to make more money later. If you're not willing to sacrifice for the things that you want, the things that you want become the sacrifice. Plus, I did it, so I don't want to hear anybody's excuses on this. Look, the first real job that I had, or the first full-time job that I had, was at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and the hours were terrible. I remember the worst week that it got for me. I worked like a 72-hour week. I had a week and a half without a lunch break, and I was using all those hours that I was working as an excuse on why I wasn't working on my business when I got off, because I would be so exhausted. I would literally fall asleep each and every single day, pass out on the couch, still in my little stanky suit because I was out there in 100-degree weather washing cars in a suit because, like, it's so stupid because why do I need to wear a suit to wash a car? But I was using that physical exhaustion that I was going through as an excuse on why I don't have time to work on my business. So I quit that job and I went in and I got a job at a bank. And guess what? The bank, that thing is open from 9 to 5. I was working exactly 40 hours a week, and the bank is also closed on every single holiday. Like every single little bitty holiday, the bank is closed. To whereas when I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the only days that we were closed were Thanksgiving holiday and Christmas holiday. Everything else, we were open. And I also wanted to learn how money works, right? Because I was like, if I want to make more money, then I might need to learn how money works, and what better way to learn how money works than at a bank in a rich neighborhood. So I strategically picked the bank that I was going to work at. If they're going to put me in some bank in the hood, I wouldn't have wanted to go there. I would have turned it down. But I sacrificed in the now for my future because I actually took less money at the bank. Well, $1 per hour, it really wasn't less money. It was actually more money per hour, but I was taking home more money when I worked for the rental car company because I was getting all that overtime. But I was not willing to sacrifice my future for my current. And a lot of people are choosing better todays for a worse tomorrow. I would much rather choose a worse today for a better tomorrow. But being more productive, it isn't about figuring out ways to do more with your time. It's about removing the stupid stuff and doing less. So you need to remove the stupid stuff from these 8 hours that you do have available so you actually have time to work on your business. And the number one way to remove stupid stuff from your 8 hours, and a lot of people aren't going to like when I say this, but move. I wholeheartedly, truly believe that if everybody just moved from where they currently live, they will by default become more successful. And don't just move to a place where you don't know anybody. And when I tell people this, they say, oh, well, I can't just pick up and move because I don't have any money and I don't have this and I don't have that and I don't know anybody and I don't. Excuses. Look, you can have excuses or results, but here's the thing about it. You can't have them both at the same time. If you're looking for an excuse in whatever, you are always going to find an excuse. And I know it works because I did it, but here's the thing about moving. If you move to a place where you don't know anybody. Because I moved to a city where I knew one person, and then that one person moved from that city shortly after I moved to that city. So guess what? When you don't know anybody, you have so much time to work on yourself and to work on your business and to work on acquiring skills and developing those skills because you don't have anybody to hang out with. Because the number one thing that is really sinking into a lot of people's times are friends, families, and whatever other personal relationships that they have, because they feel as if they have to fit in all of these things that people in their life want to do into their schedules, when in actuality, you really don't have the time to do it. You're just procrastinating on the things that it is that you actually want to do by feeling as if you have to hang out with all of these other people. And I'm not saying that you just have to stay lonely for forever. Guess what? When you move to a place where you know nobody, you are going to meet new people and you are going to form very strong quality relationships with these people that may even surpass the people from your hometown that you grew up with. Because guess what? A lot of your day one friends, you actually don't really have anything in common with them except for time. The only thing that you have in common is that your mama and their mama lived on the same block and y'all went outside one day and met each other. Y'all are only friends because your parents and their parents lived in the same school district and you had homeroom with this person and you sat next to each other and you met each other. That's why a lot of people's day one friends, they can only talk about remember when? Because they don't have really anything to talk about now unless they're talking about other people. They can't talk about ideas. They can't talk about dreams and goals and aspirations because y'all aren't on the same frequency. You all aren't into the same things, but you feel this loyalty to this person because you've known them since you was 12 years old. And I'm not saying that you can't be friends with your day ones. I still have some day one friends, but some of the people along the way had to let them go because I came to the realization that, we have absolutely nothing in common, but I feel some type of sense of loyalty, like I have to be your friend just because I have known you for 20 something years. And with that said, I'm still friends with some of my day ones. Handful of those guys, they're my brothers. They know who they are. They know what it is with us. But those new relationships that you form, they'll be so strong because you are actually going to meet people that actually do have common interests with you. So guess what? Just like with those day one friends, how did you become friends with them when you were kids? How did you become friends with them when you met 10, 15, 20 years ago? You had something in common. But as you age, you get older, have new life experiences, those things that you're into, they change. So if I use myself as an example, growing up, all of my friends were always athletes. Guess what? Because I was an athlete. When I was in college, all of my friends were athletes. Why? Because I was an athlete. But then when I stopped being an athlete and I had entrepreneurial endeavors, I had no entrepreneur friends. Why? Because they all had 9-to-5 jobs. When I moved to a new city where I didn't know anybody, guess what all of my friends became to be? Entrepreneurs. Why did I start to become friends and build a network of genuine relationships with entrepreneurs? Because that is what I was working towards, and I was meeting people along my journey that were doing similar things and that had similar aspirations. As you start to move in your purpose and start to move in what it is that you are intended to actually do, you'll start to form relationships and bonds with people that are doing similar things, that are on similar paths and on similar journeys. You'll be forced to build those connections. But outside of just picking up and moving, something else that you can do immediately, eliminate all social media and TV, period. Social media's crap. You don't need it. It's turning you into a dumb person. Check your screen time on your phone and check how many hours per day you're on social media. Out of these 8 hours that you have per day, most people are spending like 2 to 4 hours of those 8 hours on social media. And then they say that they don't have any time to work on themselves or any time to work on their business. Well, just hop off of social media, problems fixed. And also with TV, the opportunity cost of sitting down and watching TV is entirely too high. I mean, my pops was telling me to get a new TV for my bedroom because I currently don't have a TV in my bedroom. I said, nah, it costs too much. He was like, well, you can afford a new TV. They got all these TVs, they're very affordable nowadays. I was like, it's not that I can't financially go out and buy a TV. I'm saying that the opportunity cost is too high, because if I go and buy that TV, then instead of going to sleep when I'm in my bedroom, I'll be wanting to watch TV, or I might want to just lay in the bed all day and watch TV or watch my shows or watch a movie. And the cost of wasting time in my bed all day is far too high for me. So I was like, nah, that will cost me too much to go out and buy an extra TV for my bedroom. And even outside of that, I don't watch much TV now. I mainly watch sports. And there was a 2-year time period where I didn't watch the NFL. All my friends, they thought that I was boycotting. This is around the time where people were protesting for Colin Kaepernick, right? They were kneeling with Cap. Kneel with Kaepernick, kneel with Cap. And my homies, they was like, yo, you gonna come watch the game? I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Hey man, the Packers and the Lions is playing. You gonna watch the Packers and the Lions game? I'm like, nah, I'm chilling. They thought I was boycotting. They was like, oh, you boycotting? You kneeling with Colin Kaepernick? And I was like, nah, I'm not boycotting the NFL. I'm boycotting being broke, because I'm not in the position where I can just sit on the couch all day on a Sunday and watch a bunch of people that are living out their dreams and being highly paid for it while I'm sitting on the couch broke. And this reality came to me one day when I was just sitting on the couch with my friends. Everybody, they had their vice. Some people was smoking, some people was drinking, we had snacks, whatever. And I was just sitting there. I was like, dang, we all sitting on this couch broke. And we be complaining all the time about our situation. We've been sitting on this couch for the past 4 or 5 hours watching football. Right then, I didn't watch football for an entire 2 years. I took those Sundays and those Mondays and I worked on myself and I worked on my business. Now, I'm not saying that this has to be forever. You can get these things back. But like I said, if you're not willing to sacrifice for the things that you want, the things that you want end up becoming the sacrifice. Also, something else that you can cut out is don't run errands, right? Don't run errands. The amount of time that people spend just running errands that are just wasting precious time, to whereas you can be figuring out a way to increase your income, it's insane. So You don't have to go out and go grocery shopping. Use something like Instacart. And when I say this stuff, people that are always talking about the money that it will cost them. It'll cost this much money to get my groceries delivered, or it'll cost this much money to get somebody on TaskRabbit to go and run these errands for me, or it'll cost this much money if I hire a meal delivery service to fix and prepare healthy food for me instead of going to the grocery and cooking myself. It's cheaper. Well, is it actually cheaper, or is the opportunity cost of that too high? Because if you go out to run these errands and then run those errands and then go to the grocery store and then come home and then prepare the food and then cook the food and then eat the food and then wash the dishes, it's like 3-4 hours already done went by. To whereas you could have just gotten all of that stuff delivered to you, and in those 3-4 hours, you could have been working on you. Being more productive is about eliminating stuff that you don't need to do, so you can work on what it is that you actually need to do. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less. Which leads into the second thing of these three, of why people aren't optimized to be a successful person. You may have heard this before, but you need to hear it again. It comes down to consistency. And this is why the first thing of eliminating dumb things that you don't need to be doing comes in so handy, because when people hear that they need to be consistent, they really don't know what that means. And it's not really that difficult to be consistent, because all that you need is between 1 to 3 hours. This is it. 1 to 3 hours per day to actually build a successful online business. That's it. It doesn't take that much. I'm telling you, you can get to like a 7-figure level just working 1 to 3 hours per day. It doesn't take all these crazy hours of work that you think that it takes. And it's very easy to be consistent at putting in 1 to 3 hours per day once you eliminate all this dumb stuff out of these 8 hours that you do have available per day. But it doesn't take more than that. And here's the thing about focus also. Majority of people, they only have about 4 hours of intense focus in them per day. Me, I max out around 2 to 3. But people, they've been conditioned by the 9 to 5, 40-hour per week work week, to where they think that they have to put in so many hours of work. But if you can just think about how much work do you actually get done at a 9 to 5 job? I know when I was working at the bank, there wasn't much work to actually do. Like, I would get my work done in 1, maybe 2 hours, and then the whole rest of the day, I'm just trying to act like I'm working. I'm just trying to look like I'm working. Whenever the manager would come around, I would sit up straight, and then I would just start hitting on my keyboard and looking at the screen real focused, like I was doing something, but I didn't have anything to do. And the school system starts to condition us from this at a young age, because if you think about how does a typical school day go versus how does a typical 9 to 5 work day go? All right, they go pretty much the same. You go there for this many hours, you have your lunch break, you're there for 8-9 hours out the day, same thing at the job. And the school system was not designed to educate us. The school system was designed to teach us basic reading, writing, and arithmetic, and then send us off into the work field to work for a factory. Like, that's the origins of the school system here in America. And school only went up to 8th grade. High school wasn't even a thing like back in the day of the Rockefellers and all that stuff. They wanted to teach us basic reading, writing, arithmetic, get us geared up for an 8-hour workday, and then put us into a factory. But then there was a job shortage, and the young kids weren't able to get jobs in the factory. So you had teenagers just running amok in the streets causing chaos. So they started high school. It's just basically a daycare for the teenagers that weren't able to get employed. That's why when you go to high school, you really don't learn anything else new. It's just more basic reading, writing, and arithmetic. But it doesn't take that much. I'm telling you, if you can just put in a consistent 1 to 3 hours per day of working on yourself, working on acquiring skills, working on honing those skills until you get high income, implementing systems. That's why STM, system, stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. Because once you create a system for yourself and you put in this 1 to 3 hours per day of work, into the actual system, the system can work for you instead of you working for the system. And that's how you get your time back and actually make more while working less, because the system can work for you 24/7, 365. All that you have to focus on is making proper adjustments and tinkering and refining with your actual system. And once your system is working for you nonstop, once your system is working for you 24 hours a day, once your system is working for you nonstop 7 days a week, you can just put in focused work per day, make those decisions to get a flywheel going. If you're not familiar with the flywheel, it may take a little bit of work in the beginning to make it go, but after a while, it just starts to compound on itself, and the flywheel starts to spin faster and faster and faster and get bigger and bigger and bigger and start to work on its own. You'll start to get this flywheel effect once you actually start to build a system for yourself. But you can't just be consistent for consistency's sake, which leads into number 3. In your consistency each day, it has to be focused work. And focus, F-O-C-U-S, focus stands for follow one course until successful. You need to be focused on one thing. And the problem is that people, they don't know how to actually focus on one thing for these 1 to 3 hours per day. Because when they actually do sit down, their attention's everywhere because they're checking social media, they're checking their phone, they're checking their email. Every single little notification comes on. They're checking every single notification. They're checking every single little ding, ding, ching, 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 ding that they hear. They're doing laundry. They're grabbing snacks. When they're on their computer, they have 27 tabs open. Like, it's crazy. In like a 2 to 4 hour span, most people typically only get 15 to 20 minutes of work done in like a 4 hour span. It is crazy. And it typically takes you like 15 to 20 minutes to even get in a state of flow. It's just like a video game. Like, have you ever seen dudes playing a video game and then there comes a point in the video game where they like lean up and they back get straight and then they say, man, let me start playing for real. Man, let me get serious. Right? It's not that they need to get serious. It's that it takes like 15 to 20 minutes to get into a state of flow. Like, just watch 2 dudes play Madden or 2K or something like that. There's gonna come a point around like the second quarter, the third quarter, where they be like this, and then they be like, man, let me get serious real quick. Let me play for real. That's what most dudes say. Let me play for real. And when you're working on yourself in your business, it's the same exact thing. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get into a state of flow, but every single time that you're distracted, every single time you take your focus off of that one thing and place your attention somewhere else, every single time you check social media, you check your phone, you're checking the email, you're checking the notification, you're checking some different tab that's open on your computer, it resets it, and it's going to take you another 15 to 20 minutes to get back in that state of flow. That's why most people in a 4 hour span, they only get 15 to 20 minutes done. I know how to actually focus, and that is like the sole reason why I get more done in a day that typically takes people a week. I get more work done in 2 to 3 hours per day than most people get done in a week. And then people wonder why I have all these huge quantum leaps, or how does he get this stuff done so fast, or how can he pivot so fast, or how can he do these great things that I wish that I could do. And it simply comes down to I'm focused and you're not focused. So think how far ahead I'm going to get in front of the next person. If I do what takes them a week, I get it done in 2 hours. Think how far ahead of them I'm going to be in a week's time, in a month's time, in 3 months' time, in a year's time, in 3 years' time. It's insane. They can't catch up. And then you just be looking back at them like, catch up, mustard. But look, I'm telling you, if you just focus on these 3 things of poor time management, being consistent, and having true actual focus, you get numbers coming in online in your business like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this Credited at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community and entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description to tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. I'm telling you, this stuff, it's very, very, very simple. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. Plus, Rocket scientists, they don't really even get paid that much. Like, Google how much a rocket scientist makes, and you'll be shocked. I thought Elon was paying them guys more money than that, but this isn't rocket science. And the thing about actually growing your business online is that you need to keep it simple. Like I said, it's not about doing more, it's about actually doing less. And simple scales and fancy fails. And your time is a very, very limited resource. Money is in abundance. Money is all around. Like, if the pandemic didn't show you that money is just, they can just print money out of anywhere, then I don't know what else will show you that. But people, they're spending their most valuable asset, their time, which we have such a scarce amount of it, and they're spending that valuable resource in all the wrong places, when if you can really just cut out the stupid stuff, be consistent and focus on one thing for a couple of hours per day, you'll change your life in a very short period of time. But it all just starts with making the decision to do it. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. Now, see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Go ahead and check out this video right here for 3 tiny digital products where you'll make at least $100,000 with. It's credited at the top.